Hi, and welcome back to another live stream. Also, welcome back to the channel, of course. So let's get started into that topic. And the topic of today is this, my thoughts on the Behringer Synth that I owned. So I had some Behringer Synths here in my studio. That's for quite a while. And but they were not my first synths. So before I bought me the first Behringer, I had other synths, and I'm gonna like to share my my opinion about those synths, and also tell you why I don't have them now in my studio, and why I sold them, and also if I'm gonna buy another Behringer, which one it will be. I think certainly there will be another Behringer here in my studio, that's for sure. But so maybe you can help me out. Which one is interesting to have in my studio? The next Behringer that I want to have. So stay with me. All those who came to the live stream, welcome, and also feel free to leave a comment in the chat. Also, if you have a question, just put it in the chat. I will glad to answer that if I can, of course, and help you if I can. And of course, if I have a question, I hope also you can help me also. That's also the reason why we do those live stream here on this channel, so we can network and we can help each other. So first of all, before I went and bought me a Behringer, I had my first synth. It wasn't a Behringer, it was a Korg, and it was a digital synth. I'm gonna show you which one it was. So it was this one. It was the Korg Electribe 2. I don't know which of you are familiar with this synth and also has experience with this synth. And this one I had, I think, from more than 5 years, I think. It's a digital synthesizer with two oscillators, as you see. Two oscillators with sawtooth, square wave, triangle. And also I think this one was a sample and hold, and also a noise generator was also on this synthesizer. If I didn't, I thought there was also a noise, but I'm not so sure now. Certainly it was a nice synth to start with a very interesting sequencer. But there was a reason why I didn't kept it. So it was digital. Certainly the filter was here not so interesting enough to have. So I had some friends of mine who bought Behringers, and they told me you must buy a Behringer because it's an analog synth, and they cost a lot cheaper than those vintage analog synthesizers, and that they have those warm sounds, of course. So I was very, very curious about that. So I thought, why not? I sold this Korg. I used it a lot, but the reason why also I didn't want to have it, because it was it has a sort of metallic sound on it. An example is when you're when I do the PA and there is some feedback. Before you hear the feedback, there is a sudden metallic-ish sound that comes up. That's the kind of noise that this filter gives on this Korg Electribe. Otherwise, it's a very interesting and very nice sound and synthesizer also. But I wanted to have a real analog synthesizer, so I thought, why not sell this one? I sold it for, I think, more than 200, I think almost 300 euros, I think. And I bought me my first analog synthesizer, and it was also a Behringer. Those are the three Behringers that I had, but the first one was this, the Odyssey. And for those who know my channel, I have some videos with this synthesizer that I have on my channel. I'm gonna let you also hear one of those sounds of this synth. And that was my first analog synthesizer without patch memory. So it was quite an experience for me, because the first time I opened the box and I started with, and of course, like anyone who started with an analog synthesizer, I couldn't get some sounds out of it. So I went to some YouTube channels, of course, and went with that till I was here to the VCA, and then opened the VCA. And that case always, the VCA, when you open that, it's a drone. So the VCA here is a drone. It's not your volume knob, it's a drone. You open that and it goes on and on. You have that also on an MS-20 when you're patched that. You can patch a drone on your MS-20. You have that on these synth and on other synths also. So your VCA is a sort of drone. And I thought it was broken, so I went and looked it up on YouTube, and I saw it was normal that it did that. So I think after a few hours, I started to get along with this synth, and I started to create some nice sounds, and certainly those bass sounds. Certainly it has a very nice sounding bass, but it has also a very bright, high-end filter, a little bit just on the edge for me. It was not so high as the Korg Electribe that was so high, like a metallic sound. This one was just not as that metallic sounding filter. So it was a very interesting and nice sounding synthesizer. If you want to ask me what do you like about the synth, it has a nice keypad. The sound was very great. It's a very great replicated Odyssey, I think, from the original. So they did a very nice job. The lights that were here were also very interesting to see your patch settings. But what I didn't like, because there are some things that's not too. Certainly, this isn't two oscillator synth, but it's paraphonic. You can use it as a dual oscillator. You play those two oscillators together as a paraphonic synth. But I don't need. Sometimes it can be useful, but not always. But what I didn't like was those patch here. You must press very hard to modulate that, so they were not so useful. They were very hard to use. You must press very hard before you can hear something. That was not so good. It takes a lot of place also because it's big synth, heavy synth also. What I also didn't like was this one here. As you know, the Odyssey isn't monophonic, isn't mono output. There is no stereo output. So why they did put this effect, because Behringer bought the Clark's, Clark's Technics, they bought the company of those effects here, and they put it in that, and I don't see why they did that, because it add no value to the synth, nothing, and it's also a very bad sounding effect there is on this module. So I never used it, and it's waste of place and time. They couldn't do something else. The sequencer was okay. It was a nice sequencer, very useful. I liked this sequence. It was a very interesting sequence. So this one is a very nice feature to have that on this synth. But the effects were certainly when you have a monophonic synth. So please let me know what do you think about this Odyssey and what your experience about this synth. You can also leave it in the comment below or in the chat now, so we can converse or communicate and also exchange some ideas, of course, and your opinion that counts also. So that was certainly that here those effects useful as so. I never used this effect. I used always an external effect or the effects that was on my mix table that I used for this synthesizer. The sequencer, I used it a lot because it's a very nice sequencer. You can find the same sequencer on other synths from Behringer. What you also have was the the app that you can download on Synth, I think. Yes, it's Synth, I think. If I can look that up. So, they can. Behringer had also a platform, Synth. Join the tribe here, and there you can find the software you can use for your synthesizer. For this synth, for the Odyssey, you have that also. You have also that software that you can use for that. You can open that so you can see. And there are things that you can use for that, like for your amount of velocity amount that you can set with that synth. That's interesting to reset your synth. That's also, you use that. But what I didn't know, why they put there a sort of sequencer in that, but it was not useful. I couldn't use it. It didn't work with my synth. I tried everything, but it didn't work. It was useful, so never I couldn't use that sequencer on that software for the Odyssey. Also, and they didn't change nothing, so it was like that. I didn't use that. So only for some settings that I used it, and also for resetting my synth. For the rest, I didn't use that. So those are the two very big disappointment. The effect that I put on, the hard taps to modulate, and also that software that didn't work well with my Odyssey. Maybe now they fixed that, but I don't know. But I don't have it, so I don't know. If you know that, please let me know. So that was the first synth that I bought, was this Odyssey. I can let you hear the sound of this synth on one of my videos. You can also go to my channel to watch those. You're on my channel, of course. You can go to my videos. You can hear also the same video there. Those were the settings. As you see, the lights are very interesting. Before I go to the video, there was also another issue. One of those faders here began to crack a little bit. And for synth, it was a year. I think I had it less than 2 years. That was not okay. So one of those faders began to have some problems. I clean it just with alcohol. And if you do that, always turn off your synth. Otherwise, you can burn those trackers here. There's a carbon tracker here. You can burn that down if you use that without turn off the synth. Turn always off the synth if you're cleaning something, and that was gone. But the same thing. Sometimes one of those lights goes off and on. After that, it didn't do that, but. The quality of the components, I don't know. The material that they use, I don't know. But for that price, what do you want? So it's a very nice, interesting 2-oscillator synthesizer, a filter with 3 settings for the 3 different Odysseys that came out on those days. I have also an envelope generator, an ADSR, and an AR envelope generator. Also very useful. Also, the pulse width can be modulated. You have a ring modulation also on this. You have white and pink noise on this synth. You can also modulate first the second LFO, second oscillator with the first oscillator, as you use it as an LFO instead of an also. So you have, instead of 2 LFOs, 1 LFO, you have 2 LFOs. But this Clark Technic effect model on this synth is very useful. Don't use it. It sounds very bad. Don't use it, please. I'm not also a fan of the Clark Technics. Maybe you have another experience with that. I don't have great experience with this plugin, with this synth, with this product on this synth. The arpeggiator is very interesting, and also the arpeggiator and also the sequencer, very useful, very nice. Arpeggiator, it's okay. No, normally it's okay. It works very well. So I'm gonna let you hear the sound of the synth. Of course, that's how. As you hear, the sound is a little bit into the high end, and you hear, if you listen with headphones, certainly without headphones even, there is some that metallic-ish sound that I said on those filters, and all those synths, only the Model D doesn't have that, but all the others, all the synth, the Odyssey and those we're gonna look up after this one, had that also, that little metallic-ish sound on those filter. If you like that, then, and it reminds me at the Korg filter also, a little bit the same thing. But it has low end, lots of low end, so that's also very nice. So you can use it certainly for bass. It's one of those synths that very interesting for that, for those sounds. So let me also know what your opinion about this synth, what your experience about the synth, if you have one, or maybe if you want to buy one. I'm gonna show you how the prices are today for the synths. So that was the sound for the synthesizer. Going back for this synth today. Going back here for this synth, you can buy it, I think, new. I don't know if you can buy that new. I think it sells new, but you can also buy it second hand, and the prices are not so they are not so expensive. So you can watch it together. So I have look it up. What's the price today? Also new if I want. So for a Behringer Odyssey new. What do you pay today at Tommen? I think that you know what here it is with the bag on 570 euros new, and you can have also a bag for it. That's the price now today. I think I didn't pay 500 euros for it. I think I bought it for less than that when it just came out. I bought it, I think, for less than that, and I never paid it 500. Oh, maybe less, 500, I think. I'm not sure. I thought it was a little bit less, but maybe it was around 500. But you can go at Marketplace, of course, here. If you look it up, which Odyssey is the price for an Odyssey. If I can find here one, I can look it up. So for a Behringer Odyssey, you can, again, for less than 200 euros, here one. Then you have also 300 with the box, with which also is very cheap for this synth. But as you see, you don't find them. There are not so many to sell. So 296, 290 euros, and 300 euros. So around 300 euros. I think if you look at very well, you're gonna find cheaper than that, even then 350, 250. I think here, if I look it up here, the Behringers are I don't know if I can find in this. And also look it up here like that. And Odyssey. One for 300 euros. So the same thing here. And here, I think also the same thing. But there is no. Oh, of course there is no. I didn't. Just one, 320 euros. So in the Netherlands, I know in Belgium there's only one. In the Netherlands are some, but not a lot. And as you see, you can buy it also, Behringer Odyssey. Hi, Saint Fun. Welcome to the chat and also welcome to the channel. As you see, you can sell. It sells also for 471 euros. So that's very cheap and free shipping. What do you have some experience with those synths also for Behringer, or do you just came and visit the channel? Synth Fun. As you see, those are very cheap synths. You can have them for you don't have to pay a lot. So would I buy a second hand? Yes, but not for 300, I think 250, 200 euro. You can. Okay. Hi, Captain Duxky. Welcome back. I know I have an Odyssey, but I don't have that from Korg now. I'm also fond of the Odyssey. It's one of my favorite synths. Mofunic synths are. My experience with the Odyssey is it's a very nice sounding synth, but more in the low end when you're using it as a bass mid-range synth. Not in the high end, but because when you're going to that high end, you're gonna hear that metallic-ish sound that I had also on the Korg, and I'm not fond of that. You don't have that on the Odyssey from Korg. I have the Korg Odyssey here, ARP Odyssey, a recreation of the ARP Odyssey from Korg, and from ARP, but Korg recreate that, and they don't have that metallic-ish sound in the high end of those filters. So it's a very interesting, very nice synth, the Odyssey, but not for the high end sound. For the mid and the low, perfect. And certainly for that price, why not? So it takes a lot of place. It's a big synth, it's a heavy synth. And for the rest, I think if you don't use those effects on that synth and you use an external effect, there are some tricks also. I'm gonna make some videos about tricks and to record sounds like monophonic sounds or double bass or something else. I have some upcoming videos on that also, how to create very interesting sounds without using even effects. So that's my experience, Synth Fun. I hope I can I help you with that. And also, Captain Duxky has also experience with that synth. He loves that, so that's why he read also the bass. Like I said, the same thing. I love that also on the bass. That's why also when I sold it because I bought me the Korg Odyssey, ARP Odyssey, of only for that, because they are very close. They are very close. Only in the high end, there is a big difference between those synths. So thank you all both for your opinion, of course. That's my experience, of course, on the Odyssey. If there are others or also having some experience with that synth, please let me know. I will glad to know that also. Going back those, so that's the Odyssey. Certainly when you want to buy this Odyssey or that from Korg, glad I can help you. We have other topics, of course. You can stay and what we are not finished yet. So let's go to the next. That was the So I was very glad and I was happy to have that Odyssey, because for me it was instead of the Korg Electribe that I had before, and certainly this one, I thought, wow, that's a very interesting synth. Maybe I'm gonna buy me a polyphonic synth. I didn't have a polyphonic synth, so I thought, why not another Odyssey? They were not so expensive, and I came across some YouTube channels where they explain and they demonstrate that synth, and it was quite interesting. But with those videos, you don't never know what the sound will be. So I thought that's maybe the closest synth that comes to a Juno 6 or 16, because I'm a very, very great fan of those two synths, the 16 and 6. And I thought maybe it can replicate that sound like the Odyssey also did with the Behringer did with Odyssey. So I bought me this DeepMind 6, and the first thing when I bought it and I opened it and started to work with, it was easy to use now because I knew the Odyssey, so I knew there were two oscillators, the waveforms on those oscillators. Easy. I'm being lying if I said that was not so easy. It was not so easy. Certainly because you have a lot of diving to in this synth. If I be honest, I'd never recommend this synth as your first analog synthesizer. Never. The Odyssey, yes and no. That depends. You can learn it fast, but in the beginning it's a little bit complicated, the Odyssey. But the DeepMind is very complicated when you're now. If you don't have experience with the synthesizer, don't buy this synth, because it's a difficult synth. And even with me now, if I have it now, even then there are lots of menus that you must dive into. They replicated a little bit the Juno 106, and I came across the same problem that I had with my Odyssey in the high end. The same thing has the same filter, I think. When I go to the high end, then it also goes to that metallic-ish sound, and I didn't like that. In the low end, the same as Odyssey, if I created a sound on the Odyssey, I could perfectly create it with this synth. Identical. There was no difference. So, in my opinion, they use the same oscillator, same filter almost, I think, where this one was polyphonic, 6-voice polyphonic, and it does only have 3-octave key bed. So, but of course, for that price, the effects on this was better than on the effects on the Odyssey, but it's still, I'm not fan of Clark's effect engines. I'm not so fan of those Clark Clark Technics or something, of Clark Instrument. I don't know what's the name of that. I think it was Technics, yes. I'm not so fan of those effects, but it was much better than the Odyssey. It was so complicated. There are a lot you can do, a lot of things with this synth, and you have two oscillators with a sub oscillator also, with noise and everything. Two envelope generators. With those envelope generators are so easy and complicated. You can do so much with this synth, so you can create some very interesting and complex sound with this synth. But when you have 3-octave bed synth, I don't think it's useful. So if you have this synth, you must have also a MIDI keyboard with at least 4 or 5-octave key bed. In a polyphonic synth, for me, it's the minimum is 5 key, 61 keys. That's the minimum for a polyphonic synthesizer. I don't know what your opinion about that is. Please let me know. Leave it in the chat or in the comment. I'm I'm curious, of course, what your opinion and your experiences with this synthesizer. If you have that, or if you want to buy it. So the reason why I sold this one was certainly because that filter. Only because the filter, and the second was only for those two, filter and the complicated dive-in menu that it has. You can do so much, and I don't use that all. So it's a hands-on synth, but sometimes if you only design sounds, you're in sound design, then this synth is perfect for you. If you're in sound design, if you're a musician and you want to create in a moment a sound or something that fits your moment of creativity at that moment, then this one is not so. If you have a sound that's programmed, then no problem, because it's a hands-on. You can set your sound directly here. It's very easy. Only sometimes you must press a knob to go to another setting. And to play live with a 4 octaves keyboard. What the positive things on this DeepMind was the arpeggiator was super great arpeggiator. Also the sequencer was very difficult but very interesting and very nice. The effects were much better than on the Odyssey. So do I recommend this synth? Yes, but not the 6, the 12. If you want to buy DeepMind, don't buy the 6, buy the 12. You won't regret it. If you buy the 6, then you won't regret it. Certainly because it's a polyphonic synth. And if you also stay in the low and the mid sounds, no problem. If you go to those higher, then the filter will go also a little bit metallic-ish sound. And it's not so soft, not like the Prophet 5 or something like that. So, do I recommend this synth? Yes. If you stay in the mid range, the low end range, and if you have the 12 instead of the 6. Don't buy the 6. Certainly no new. And can we hear something? Yes, I have a video here where I played with this DeepMind 6, so you can hear also the sound. What you hear, the bass, that's the Odyssey. And like I said in the beginning, the Odyssey is a fantastic thing for bass. If you want to have a nice bass sounding synth, buy you the Odyssey. The Odyssey from Behringer or from Korg, the same thing. Of course, that from Behringer, you're going to pay less. That from Korg. And if you buy a second hand, much cheaper, but you never know what you have. If you buy for 470, I think something was that the price for, then maybe it's better. The first sound that you heard was that from it's more complex. I used my mod wheel for modulating the resonance, the release. So open up the mod wheel and the release will go open. Close the mod wheel and the release will close, and that's also a very nice feature to have that. Not all every synth does have that modulation capabilities. So there are so many things that you can do on this synth, on the DeepMind 6 and 12, of course. So that's a very interesting feature. As you hear, it's a very going back. It's a very useful, very interesting synth. Only if you want to buy it, please don't buy the 6, but the 12. I'm gonna refresh my chat so everybody can see also the chat if I don't refresh that. So you can also use all those modulation. You can create some complex sound. So very interesting. Before we go further, for all those who came to the live stream and also to the channel, welcome to the channel. And also, like I said, feel free to leave a comment, or if you have a question, just ask. And if I have a question, please help me also. I'll be glad to know what you're thinking, what your experience about those synths. If you have had one, what do your experience with this synth, and why do you want to sell it or buy it? Feel free to leave your opinion, of course, and to share that with everyone here in the live stream, of course. So what's the price today when you're buying this synth? If you want to buy today secondhand, you can go to secondhand, the DeepMinds today. If you found a DeepMind, here is a 12 for €400. So you have a 4-octave keypad in this case, much interesting than that 3 keypad. And you have, instead of 6 voice that you have on the DeepMind 6, in this case, I'm going to open that, you have 12 voices. So that's for €400 second hand. I think also in mint condition, as you see. That was also not interesting, that display. I didn't like the display. Not so clear. There was the contrast on that display was not so interesting. So I hope that was a minus point on this synth also. But that's the DeepMind 12, so 1 octave more than the 6, and also 6 voices more. So you can have also, so you can split them, I think, on this synth. You have so much modulation, so much things that you can do. Do I recommend it? Yes, this one, the 12, but not the 6. And also very interesting to use that in the high mid, but not in the very high end, and in the low end, certainly. You can create the same sound on a DeepMind as on an Odyssey. So if you have the DeepMind, you don't need to have the Odyssey. You can do the same thing. You can make it 2 voices, 2 oscillators, monophonic. You can do the same thing here and create the same sound that you can create on an Odyssey. Identical. I tried that different times, and I created the sound on the Odyssey. I couldn't create that on the DeepMind. I created the sound on the DeepMind, and I could recreate the same sound on the Odyssey. So they are very, very similar. The only difference is the amount of voices. This one has 12 or 6 voice. That means also every voice has also an envelope generator and a filter separately. Instead of the DeepMind, the Odyssey has one filter and then 2 envelope generators for both oscillators. So certainly recommend that for those prices. I think you can buy them a little bit less. If you find a 6, it's much cheaper, but you don't buy the 6, just the 12. The 12 is better. Otherwise, don't find them a lot also, because they are very useful and interesting. Also, why do you want to sell that? I sold it because just that filter. I didn't like the filter because I wanted that sound from an Juno 660, and I couldn't recreate that sound on that synth. So that was the reason why I didn't have it anymore in my studio. That was, I think, almost the only one that I found here on Facebook, of course. But I think here I had found another one or 2 even. I think here, yes, Behringer. Look it up. Here, that's not that's the other one. That's the Behringer X66X analog. But I don't find. This one also I had the V amp for bass. Very interesting, very nice feature, but not for studio, just for live. No problem for studio. Here you have the rack version. You have also a rack version for €450. The new price for one now is 800. So half price for I don't know. That's the 6 you don't find. Oh, you have the 12 with a case. Also 699, and you get all those things with just the Behringer with 800, just the Behringer 500. The 6, don't buy this one, buy the 12. As you see, Behringer under the 500. So you can buy it cheap. And that's new. Eh? So, to be honest, I think you can buy that new instead of second hand. And if you want to buy some second hand, like this one, that's too much. €450. I think €300, €350, more in that range. With a keyboard, okay, it was a 12 with a keyboard, but then 450. That's a nice price, but certainly not above 500. That's my opinion. You don't have to follow my opinion. That's what I want to pay for that. Nothing more, because I had it before, so I know I can do it. So for that price, yes. Otherwise, no. Do you have other things here? Other DeepMinds on sale. That's for the Netherlands, this one. And then I don't. In here, we have a DeepMind here. Let's see. Oh. Okay. Yes, here, €400 with a keyboard. So, as you see, €400 for the keyboard. That's the price for this synth. And if you want one, this one is the one you want to buy. This one is for in Belgium. Then, can I find another one? DeepMind 12 or 6 maybe. But you don't have one with a case, 650, 600 for 550, 600, but let's take €100, 150 for a case. So, no, that's a little bit too much for this synth. But otherwise, there are not so much in second hand. So, yes, for this one also, Synthtribe has also software for that. And the Odyssey, the software there was not so useful. But in this case, this one is very useful, very interesting. Very interesting software that you have with this synth also. And I worked a lot with that also. And you can change also a lot of things on your laptop instead on the synth itself. So very useful software for that synth, for the DeepMind. Going back, so do I recommend it? Yes, you can buy it new if you want to have that. If you don't want to have some issues, you never know if you buy secondhand what it has. But if it's in mint condition, secondhand is the better way to do. And you don't regret it, certainly not. That's my opinion about the DeepMind 6. If you have experience with this synth, if you have your opinion, another opinion, of course, feel free to mention that in the chat. And also for those who came in, also feel free also to just say hello. That's also nice to know that others are listening and watching the live stream, of course. What we also have, that's my second Behringer synth that I bought. And then after that, I bought my third synth, and this one is still today. Even I don't have it, but I will talk about that later. Even till today is one of my favorite synth sounds that I have in my studio. I can't say it because it sounds very well. The filter is very nice. I played on a Mini Moog also, so I know how a Mini Moog sounds, and I played on this one. They are, in my opinion, of course, identical. There is not of difference in this synth of sound difference as a Mini Moog. So why do I sold it, and why it isn't here in my studio anymore? There was one big reason, and there are some who doesn't matter. The things for me that doesn't matter if it goes out of tune or if it takes 20 minutes before it's tuned. As an analog synth, it goes always sometimes out of tune. Even my Prophet 5, after a while, if it's warm or cooler, then I must retune that a little bit. So that's normal. But it's always after 5 minutes or less in tune. I had before also a CS5. It was 45 years old, and it was in less than 2-3 minutes it was tuned. This one, it took 20 minutes, certainly for that. After that, it goes a little bit out of tune, but not so much. And that, I can live with that. But to take 20 minutes and longer, sometimes between before it's stable, that was for me the only reason, and the only reason why I don't have that synth anymore in my studio. But to be honest, I miss that sound because it's a superb sounding synth. It has very great low end, very great filter, high end. Those 2 or 3 oscillators, you can use this third oscillator as an LFO, so you can have 2 LFOs instead of 1 LFO. It's a fantastic little synth, and maybe the newer versions are not so unstable as this one, but this one was very unstable. I'm not the only one that said that. There are some videos on the synth where also the same issue came along, that it's not stable, take long before it's stable, and that's the truth. So you must, but if it doesn't matter for you, then it doesn't matter. So why not? If someone of you has some experience with this synth, can you please let me know? I'm very curious about what do you think? Is it maybe just my synth was like that and the other one was not like that? I don't know. My experience was it's a very interesting synth, certainly because they put it in and out and out or through MIDI. That was also very good to have that. It had also an USB here port for that. It was, yeah, I miss this synth, but maybe I'm gonna talk about that later in this live stream. I'm not gonna tell you everything now. So, but this one is one of those synths that I certainly recommend if it's not an issue for you, that it takes 20 minutes before it's stable, or it goes sometimes after 50 minutes out of tune a little bit. If it doesn't matter for you, then this one is certainly the one. It doesn't cost you a lot. It's very cheap. You can find them also very cheap in secondhand for 3 oscillators and a fantastic sounding filter, of course. Let's hear what it does. You can find always all those videos on my channel here, so feel free to look it up and listen. Also, what I like about the synth, it's a hands-on synth, like I do now. That's what I like about the synth. I used to hear the DeepMind for the sequencer or the arpeggiator. I don't know, I think I used a arpeggiator here. So the DeepMind has a very interesting and nice sounding arpeggiator and also a sequencer, and combined with the other Odyssey. As you see, two oscillators are open. The third is closed. I'm gonna open that also after that. That's the filter. Feel free to leave some comments in the chat. If you have a question, just ask. Or just say hello, of course. The more I listen to this video, the more I miss this synth. That I don't have it anymore and I couldn't maybe use it with my Modo 32. It has also patch capabilities here, as you see, above here. What's your opinion? Just leave it in the comment, please. Some noise also. Thank you, Synth. The noise that you hear at last, and the filter. Isn't that a fantastic sounding filter? One of those filters that you can say, I still, yes, I don't have it, but who knows? And if I have a lot of money, I think I'm gonna buy me that mini Moog. But That's a lot expensiver than this. But maybe is there is a solution for that. So that's what you can do with this Model D, one of those synths that Behringer brought out. I must say, one of the best synths that Behringer brought out, but only that small issue, and for that I didn't have it anymore. But maybe there are other things, of course, that coming up, and that will give me the same sound. We will see. So that's the Model D. We can look it up, what price category if you buy it new or if you buy it secondhand. What does it go today? Go and look it up. Here we have some. Here we have two 150 and 165 for Behringer Model D. Both has the box. Also, if you buy secondhand, certainly with the box and everything on, that's always a little bit. That give me a sign that the person who bought this synth has also take care about the synth. That's also a little bit my opinion. If everything is on that synth and everything is like he bought it, then that means that he take care about that synth, and it's always then a nice. There are not so much problems with that. So that's also one of the things that I'm aware when I buy something secondhand, which I do also. So I know not everything is new. So for that price, personally, for this one, certainly because it goes out with 3 units, I think 150 is a nice price, but you can find them cheaper than that. And certainly that you can find it cheaper. That doesn't mean that it's better than. It's sort of not. Maybe with less, but more. Do we find another one here? In this case, no. And the Netherlands, maybe there. Behringer Model D. Let's see. Yes, you have here 110. So that's not expensive. No box, of course, here. As I thought, for that price, that's just the dust cover. That's not the price for that synth. Another one here, but it's sold. I don't know what was the price for this one, but it's sold. You can find them secondhand, certainly. So in this case here, what do we have? Do we have here some Model D? That's on Facebook here. Do we have that? No, I don't come across one. You see some. No, nothing here. Can look it like that. That was no Model D, maybe like that. Model D, no. So you see there are not so many of those synths that you can buy secondhand. What is the price today at Soman? If you can still buy them, I don't know. I don't see them here. So can you buy them? Are there still let's see, new. Yes, 200 euros. So second hand for 100 euro, 110, 120. But nothing more. 150 is for me too much, because you can buy it for less than 200 euros. So why do I pay? And of course I can buy also this one, and I played on, I think, similar synth, the Model D ratio, but this one cost more than $5,000. So it's but believe me, it does the same sound as that Model D, and it's of course it keeps its price. It doesn't go cheaper. So only for the case 880. That's a little bit foolish for that. You can find another one just for the screensaver, no, dust saver, the dust cover, excuse me. No, that's for the new price. So going back to the synth, of course, then that's the synth. So what I want to do, maybe because I don't have that Model D anymore, and because I'm not so sure it's always a stable synth, then maybe there is another option. And as you know, I have a video made of this. This will come out soon. I think in a few months or something. It will be available in the shops here in Europe, and that's the D Mini. So it's the Model D but smaller, and it has other features that the Model D doesn't have, like a sequencer, like an arpeggiator also. So if it has the same engine as the Model D, then, to be honest, if you want to buy a new one, then buy this one and use a MIDI keyboard to play with this synth. The only negative thing that it has, this synth, is that it's not hands-on. It's not a hands-on synth. And that's something that I find very important when I buy an instrument here in my studio. I like to work with my gear at that moment when I'm creating sound. I'm not a music creator that create music in the box. I play music, so I play my keys, I play my guitar, I play my instruments, and I like to play to jam. So I get in some groove or some feeling where I go creative, and it's like the music, the instruments talk to you and you respond. And that's a way of creativity that I like to do with my creation when I create some music. I'm not that guy who works in the box. So for someone who works in the box, this synth is perfect. But someone like me who is hands-on, that's creating things at that moment, in the moment itself, that way of working with music, working in a studio, is this synth not the useful for that. What it can do is, I'm creating my sound. There are not patch memories, so you must always recreate that sound and create that sound and then play it, and that's it. So you cannot also program your patch. There is no patch memory. It has the same three oscillators, but it can also have a sequencer and an arpeggiator on this synth. It's also a little bit polyphonic, but not polyphonic, paraphonic. You can play more than one voice, but with the same filter and the same envelope generator. So that is also a little bit more than what you can do on the Model D. Only thing is that, of course, you must dive in to go to all your other settings. So it's a little bit hands-on. You can do, but it's small. And I have some thick fingers. So is it useful? I don't know. But for the price, for 100 euro, less than 100 euro, I think when it comes out, I'm going to buy that just for that sound, only for that mini Moog sound, that famous, the sound that you heard in the video that I played just before that. So this is a very interesting replacement for that synth for me. Maybe there will come one of those synths. There is another synth also that took my mind to want to have it. Maybe this one also, the AKS. My guts feeling go more to the Model D than the AKS, or the D Mini than the AKS Mini. But this synth has also captured my attention, and it's also certainly the real thing. But it does not the same thing as the real thing. It's just a very it has not the waveforms, all the waveforms that the real thing has, and more than that also. But it has also other things that the other doesn't have also. So this was also that comes also out, but not available in the shop. Will be available in a month or something. I can buy this one also if I want. But this one is also a little bit expensive than this one. This one is much cheaper than the other one. 100, the other 140 or something like that. But it's both are not available yet, but they will come to the shop. So those are the two synths that I love to have, maybe, but I think more the Model D. And the moment I will buy this one, the Model D, the smaller one, then certainly I'm going to make a video about that. And I'm going to make a jam also on that synth. So you can watch and hear the sound. And I hope it will sound exactly the same as the Model D. And I hope it will be stable, better than the Model D. And maybe for that, it's just, we will see. So that's what's coming up. I don't know what your opinion about those synths here. Which Behringer do you want to buy or is on your wish list? Do you have a synth that maybe that you can recommend me to try out? There is also another one that comes out. I made also a video about that. The CS Mini. That is a recreation of the CS80, the real CS80, but it's just a recreation. So what they did, I'm going to show you what I did. Is this one here. So this one comes also out, and it's just a recreation, but instead of the 16 voices, normally it's 2 times 8 voices, so it's 2 8-voice synthesizers, the real CS80, and they created 3 voices from with the same filter and the same envelope, a recreation of the CS80. And in the video that I did, I talked about that I have I did also in this video that I had the CS5. That's a monophonic synth with the same oscillator, the same filter, the same envelope generator as the CS80, but 1 time. The CS80 is 16 times bigger than the CS5. They created so 3 times the CS5, but polyphonic. So that means that you can that means that it must have 3 envelope generators for each voice and 3 filters for each voice. So three voices polyphonic. A bit pretty because I think 4 voices was the minimum that you must have. 2, like a Jupiter 4. A recreation. I'm very curious. I think they will launch this soon. It was the first time that they launched this as an idea. I think it was in 2022 in NAMM, and then they went in production. But now I think they're gonna start to produce those synths, and they will come soon, hopefully, also on the market, so you can buy this CS Mini. And also, I'm curious for those who just the videos that come out with this CS Mini, how it's gonna sound, and if it's interesting to have that also maybe in your collection. So certainly, so it's the recreation. It's like you see, it's a recreation of this big synth here. It's 2 synthesizers with 4 patch memory that you can patch 4 memories here. And instead of 8 voice each synthesizer, you have 2 layers of 8 voice with this ribbon also. An iconic synth, of course. Will I ever buy this one? No. Even if I have the money, I don't buy it because there's a lot of maintenance on this synth. It's old, and if you buy this synth and there is something broken, it's also very hard to find to fix this synth. Some CS60 or 50, I think, yes, are just bought because they will use it for repairing this synth. So it's a synth for in the museum. You have lots of hi, welcome, County Fair. Excuse me for pronouncing your name not correctly. I'm gonna refresh so everybody can watch what you're look it up also on the screen. So yes, you need to do that. So that's not something that I. So you confirm that it needs 15 to 20 minutes to be stable. And after that, does they stay stable or not? Well, after you wait 15-20 minutes, does it stay stable or not? Oh, there's also always a latency here. I set my latency normal, so that's maybe a problem. So as you can read that County Fair has also must wait 15 or 20 minutes to stabilize those oscillators, and because maybe it's so small, I don't know, because I know I have the CS5 and that's a 45 years old synth, and in 2-3 minutes it was stable. Less than 5 minutes, certainly less than 5 minutes, and it stays stable the whole set. So, and here, so does it, that's also, but thank you, County Fair, for confirming what I said also, so that I just say what I experience with those synths. I'm not going to say they are bad, or they are certainly not. Certainly for that price, they are very nice sounding synthesizer. Very certainly that Model D, and even if I hear that sound that I hear on my video, then I think, why did I sold it? But maybe with that the Mini D, that will recreate the same sound. So hopefully it will match the real thing also. But thank you very much. If you have also other opinions, other ideas, please feel free to leave it in the chat. For me, I think I cover it all for today. Also, there is another synth maybe I want to have. That's this one. This one you can buy. The GT2, that's a recreation of the Jupiter. The only difference in this one is that it is not polyphonic but paraphonic. So that's also a little bit pretty that it's not. I don't know if it has also a patch memory. I didn't think that it has a patch memory, but it's paraphonic, not polyphonic. But if you know the Jupiter, that's a polyphonic synth. So same thing why they didn't create here. But the layout is very nice done. It's a hand-on synth, so that's what I love also. That's also, if it sounds even good as the Model D, there are 2 synths there in my bucket list that I want to buy. If it comes maybe in second hand, I don't know. That's another synth that I want to have. Which one do you want to have? Which one is on your bucket list? Just let me know, please. I'm also curious about that. Which one do you think that's interesting to have also? Or which one do you think that was not my cup of tea? This synth was not okay, because there are lots of other Behringer synths in this case today, but other synths, feel free. There are other synths that are, as you see, also those Behringer synths now they came out. It's a little bit like the Korg Volca synths. Are they the same thing as this Behringer thing, or are they similar or not? I don't know. I saw them in the shop before, but I never bought one of those Korg Volca synth. Are they the same? Are they some as the same? Because the layout is almost the same thing. So for all those who came to the live stream, welcome also, but also thank you very much. Also, thank you, County Fair, for your opinion. Thank you, Synth Fun. Thank you, Captain Captain Duxkey, and also thank you for your comments all, and also for your opinions and for the visit, and also to follow me here in this live stream. For all those others, you can also go to my channel and watch other videos that I made and create and jams that I did from scratch. There will be other videos came and also live streams, of course, also on audio settings and on because I'm also a PA guy. I record. I'm a musician, not as professional, but an educator as professional, but musician. Thank you, and also I'm working along with some friends of mine in jazz club, where I'm also the sound engineer with other sound engineers. So I do also the sound, but I play also there. So let okay, that's normal. That's indeed. If it stays longer, then that's normal. It will go a little bit out of tune, but not so much. That's normal for some synths. For some synths, not for all. For some synths, but that was not for me the issue. But for me, the issue was certainly the 20 minutes. Yes, I did also that. Did that also in the beginning. So for people who don't have experience with synths and how to tune those potential meters, I don't know. Do you think that it's a synth for those people? Well, because if you're new in synthesizers and you buy a Model D for learning, it's a very interesting synth. I think it's one of the best synths that you can also learn. But you can tweak them a little bit. And what's your opinion about that, Conti Fair? So it was a very interesting live stream today. I hope you found that also. And also, as you see, I'm gonna let the chat open for a while before I close everything, so you can stay chat. I can also respond also, and then after that, I'm gonna close this. But you can also review. I'm gonna cut a little bit pieces from here and there. There's always, you must edit the video before you finish it. But it's open always. You can always revisit the chat and the live stream, of course. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for the visit. Thank you for all. Have a nice weekend also. Like I always said, stay creative, take care, and I will see you next on another live stream. And don't forget, the live chat is still open for a while. Goodbye.